Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video on my 14 level basic YouTube / brand / from my Instagram, all that fun stuff. I'll have all the stuff linked, I guess, in the bottom. Not here because I don't feel like doing editing. So, now that I don't feel like doing editing, I just have an issue with my computer that doesn't let me export my videos, so like, gotta get that figured out. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Netflix show Outer Banks. It has taken the country by storm. It was like #1 trending on Netflix, and I was like, I have to watch a show because everyone keeps talking about it. And I got my little Outer Banks hat on right now. Shout out to Bailey. It's probably backwards because like I'm recording this on my phone, and hopefully my arm doesn't get too tired. Alright, so then let's just get right into it. That's what the YouTubers say, so that's what we're gonna say. Alright, so at first with Outer Banks, I had a lot of feelings about this show. They fluctuated a lot, especially since finishing like the first season. So at first, I was pretty indifferent with the show. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, okay, like I didn't really know how to feel about it. Gave it the benefit of the doubt. It's like, I'll finish it, I'll watch the whole thing, and I'll just see. Like, you never know how you're gonna feel once the first season ends or like the last episode you watch. So pretty indifferent about it. And then after I finished the season, I just kept thinking about the show, like just like what could happen in the next season, the characters, the actors, everything about it. I was like, I want to know everything about everything with this show. And that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, well, clearly I really just like enjoyed this show a lot. And I also, so like from when I first made my post on my Instagram, 14 level basic, I do what to watch Wednesdays, and we'll review something that I'm watching or something that I think people would enjoy or that I recommend. And so I had just finished watching Westworld, and I'm currently still watching Killing Eve season 2. And those are just two very different shows in Outer Banks, and I feel like once I started watching Outer Banks, I was like, oh wow, this show is not good. Just because like they're just different shows than Westworld and Killing Eve. Like, those are just two different shows for what Outer Banks is. And then I kind of got back into like teen drama, melodrama vibe, and I was like, all right, I kind of like this show. And I would say up until like the 4th or 3rd episode is where I really started to get into it. And I just felt like the show itself, specifically for Outer Banks, it took a while for them to get like the story going. They set up a lot about like, what is the Outer Banks, what exactly is this life, the Pogue life, the Kook life, who are these people, and kind of their dynamic and how they all are related. And then maybe episode 4 or 5 is where we really get into the nooks and crannies of like what the show is really about and what all those characters are going to do. So and so then also what really like I feel like sold the show, at least for me and for a lot of people, of why people love it so much, is the cast. The cast had great chemistry and really made the show, especially since they weren't known actors. I just feel like that's like so, like, people love that when it's like, oh my god, the cast is so good, but like we've never heard of these people before. Who are they? We need to know everything about them. Like, we love it, we love it, we love it. And I feel like the last time we kind of had that vibe was with Stranger Things. That was pretty much an unknown cast. Maybe like Winona Ryder was like the only person people really knew. And it was the same thing. The kids, like, it was so amazing. They acted, and they were doing, that's my finger, we're doing so great. And so yeah, then I would say, like, in the sense of like how I would explain the show is between a critic. I read a critic who worded this, and it was really perfect because I'm like 100%. So perfect. It's Bloodline, Scooby-Doo. It's Bloodline and Scooby-Doo with training wheels. So if you've never seen the show Bloodline on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's so similar to Outer Banks, but it's definitely more mature and not as so much as teen drama, but more as like family drama and like how money and greed can really mess things up. And obviously Scooby-Doo, because we've all seen Scooby-Doo, and they like drive around in like a little VW bus. So like I really like that. And then a lot of people have been comparing it to the OC. totally see that as well. And so initially, like my initial thoughts, alright, so I've already said that I'm just looking at my notes. So some parts were pretty predictable for me, in my opinion, and I'm not sure if they did that on purpose, but the villain was like very obvious very early on, and I could see why they would do that. Maybe they wanted you to figure that out, so then you're like, okay, well, like, when is this all gonna come together, or when is they're gonna realize like this guy's not good, or this person. But so I don't know, that like didn't bother me that much, but it definitely made it feel like, okay, this is definitely, I'm not sure what the audience is supposed to be for the show. Like me, I figured it out. Maybe like my cousin, actually my 11-year-old cousin would probably figure it out really early on. She's like super into Riverdale, so like she probably would figure it out. Anyway, so alright, so kind of going more into like the story and like episode by episode. So I kind of mentioned this before, but episodes 1 through 4 are pretty slow. And I kind of already explained this, but like teen drama, melodrama, teen culture, beginning, and then midway it's more drama, action-packed, and the story about what exactly is going on. And I would say the last 3 episodes were the strongest and most engaging. The only issue I had was that episode 8 felt like a finale to me. And I was like, okay, this is clearly either ending something or concluding everything that we've seen so far, and the next 2 are going to be setting up what's going to happen for the next season. And I guess that's kind of true in exactly what happens, but it just was very interesting to me at that point, because I'm like, ooh, I'm wondering where they're going to take this, what's really going to happen, and all that. So the last episode, in my opinion, was like very much over the top, and it felt like the writers were like, well, how are we gonna raise the stakes, and how are we gonna make this like be even more than what we've built up to for episode 8. So they definitely raised the stakes, but my only issue with it was like it seemed a little far-fetched and like just a lot. I'm like, this is so much, like this is a lot that's happening. But in the sense of like it feeling far-fetched, like I said, the show is like very much, you have to take it for what it is and what they give you. And God bless you, Mom. And I just lost my train of thought. Far-fetched. Yeah, so it was like, not that it wasn't realistic, but like it's fine if it really wasn't. Like even if you feel that way, it's like not that big a deal. Again, like if you watch Riverdale or any other teen drama, like this is nothing. You're gonna be like, okay, like Riverdale is a little bit more far-fetched, So one thing I did really like about the show was that the main characters were like wanting to do good. It wasn't like an anti-hero or like a character that's like bad, but you root for them anyway because like they're the main character. It's very much like, no, these kids are trying to do a good thing. They want people to be put into justice if they did something wrong, and are trying to use their power to like manipulate and get things that they want. So that I really appreciated in the writers and the creators part. And kind of just, and like last thoughts about everything. Like I mentioned, if you watch Riverdale, you'll definitely like love this show. It's a little bit more realistic than Riverdale. Riverdale kind of has a tendency to just like go off the rails and just like write in some random thing that has no point, and you're like, okay, what is going on with this? And then they like make it become a thing and like tied into the story, but you're like, this was so unnecessary. And then I also really love that like it takes place at the beach. I think that's what like makes the show even more intriguing as well. And like the Pogue life, it really adds to like the audience member wanting to be a part of the show and the characters, and even the friend group. It's like similar to how like everyone wants to be friends with like Joey, Phoebe, and Rachel, and David Schwimmer. I can't think of his character name, but in that same sense, same with like Sex and the City, like everyone wants to be like friends with Carrie, Samantha, and Charlotte, and I am just doing a terrible job today, but you get the point. So yeah, I also just wanted to give credit to Chicks in the Office because I did listen to their recap and they did mention like it's been a while that we've had a show that has taken everyone's attention by surprise, like super big, and they kind of made that because it was like the characters or like the actors that had done that. And like I said, I thought it was more like Stranger Things. They didn't mention that, but like it definitely like made me think about like, oh well, when was the last time we kind of had like a big cast that everyone was like in love with? And I could really think of Stranger Things. That was like a big show on Netflix, and I feel like this has like the same vibe. So I just wanted to like again end off in like 3 more points. So like when I started watching the show, I was like, this is right up my alley. When I was in middle school, my whole vibe was like surfer beach vibe, obsessed with Bethany Hamilton, got like surfer magazine sent to my house. My whole bedroom is decorated like beach themed. So when I was like ready to watch a show, I was like, this is right up my alley. I watch Pretty Little Liars, Riverdale, all of that. So like I went into the show thinking like I'm obsessed with this show already. Then the first few episodes I was like, actually maybe I'm not obsessed with this. And then it turned right after I finished it. So stick with the show if you start watching it. And I definitely would recommend it to a friend. Only if I know they like teen drama and mystery. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone that like definitely doesn't like, they can't do teen dramas, and I'd be like, okay, maybe this isn't for you. But I definitely would recommend it if you like those kinds of shows. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video or would like me to post more videos like this, leave a comment and subscribe and like and all that fun stuff, and follow my Instagram, 14 Level Basic. And I also just want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but I just want to mention like I am a TV expert. I study film and TV in college, and I work in TV industry, so that's my little credential. So do the things and subscribe and like, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.